So at the beginning of this week, I was asking myself the question, is it possible to recreate Stonehenge in Town to City? And as you just saw, the short answer to that question is yes. So here's how I did it. This whole thing started when I came across this rock in the game. And if you've ever seen Stonehenge either in real life or just in a picture, you can understand why I felt like this rock was just crying out to be turned into this monument. So I went zooming around on Google Maps a bit, I looked at a lot of photos, and together with all the other rock decorations we have in Town to City, I thought, yeah, let's give this a go. So the first thing to get started on was to scout out a location for my Stonehenge build, and I came over to Fontabrac because of the more countryside vibe it has. Stonehenge is pretty much just surrounded by fields, if you didn't already know. And my city is getting a little bit full, but over in this little corner here, I decided we had just about enough room to build this monument, giving it the space that it deserves, and I knew I also wanted to try and build a little visitor centre to go alongside it. So I started off by painting the grass a slightly darker green to feel a bit more like the British grass that you have around Stonehenge. And then I began the very painstaking process of placing down all of these rocks. At this point, I was so grateful that Town City had so many rocks to decorate with, because it meant that I was actually able to keep the arrangement kind of looking, I guess, exciting in each place. Or maybe not exciting, but whereas the rocks in real life are obviously very differentiated, I actually felt like I was really able to capture a little bit of that, even in my kind of small Town City way here. It's obviously absolutely very far from a perfect recreation, but I'm pretty happy with what I was able to achieve. So Stonehenge, when it was originally built, looked quite different. We have kind of diagrams of what we think it looked like when it was first created, but I'm obviously recreating it as we find it today in Salisbury. And any Stonehenge superfans are definitely going to realise that I did miss out a couple of rocks when I was doing my recreation. Most noticeably the heel stone and the station stone, which sit a little bit further out from Stonehenge itself. And there's also just a few other random rocks lying around in the area which I didn't include. That was mostly because of the space constraints that I was facing here. So let's speed through the rest of this because you can really only watch me place rocks down for so long. So now it's time to move on to a bit of the other decorating that I wanted to do. Right now we're working on pathing and floor paint, and I was referencing a photo as I drew out these little goat paths you can see where I guess people have walked around, although I'm not sure how close you're actually allowed to get to the stones at Stonehenge, so maybe this is people who work at Stonehenge or something, but I don't know, it could be members of the public. I'm not sure if they really let you go right up and touch it. And then I really had to correct this ugly path that I had drawn in previously, and also draw a few new paths in. And this is when we start really veering away from reality, I would say. No longer referencing any photos, and that's because I knew I really wanted to include a visitor centre here. The real Stonehenge does have a visitor centre, but I guess I wanted to put my own twist on it and also do what I thought would work well in the game. So I've got this area over to the right where we've got some little benches where maybe you could have a picnic or something. And then I grabbed just a kind of regular old house to act as the visitor centre. We didn't really have any other buildings in the game that I felt would have worked better, so I was happy with the house. And then I also grabbed this newspaper stand, not because I think everyone wants to buy newspapers when they're at Stonehenge, but because I thought it looked a bit more like a coffee hut or something like that. And again, that kind of made sense to me as something that you would have at this kind of historical monument where people would be coming to visit. I also added in a little bit of greenery as well. And also just this tiny little sign. I thought these looked super cute at the entrance where you would go in. And then, yeah, obviously, like I literally just said, the real Stonehenge is surrounded by fields, but I wanted to add trees in because otherwise I think the landscape around it did just end up looking really boring. So I had to do a few things to brighten it up a bit. And I also thought a fence made sense to kind of stop anyone getting in, I guess, without paying, assuming you pay to see Stonehenge. And then I was looking over my beautiful creation at night time. And that was when I realised we don't have any lights. So I had to immediately go and fix that and add in a bunch of lanterns all around the benches, the visitor centre, and this long path going all the way around Stonehenge itself. Then it was looking pretty sparse, so I added in a few little extra benches as well. I thought maybe I could squeeze in a little food stool, but to be honest I just didn't really feel like it fit in that well. So this is me just adding the final details, including these little signs in case you get lost on this very simple one-way path. And then yeah, painting over the grass. I guess I decided it looked better brighter in the end. And this is what we ended up with. And there we go, that's our final creation. So I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please consider giving it a like or maybe even subscribing to the channel if you'd like to see more. I do have a lot of Town to City videos already up. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.